It's election season down under. On May 21st, Australians will vote for their next government. I know what you're thinking. Another election? Didn't Australia just vote in 2019? Well, they did, and you're right. And that's the thing about Australia's parliament. Its maximum tenure is 3 years. In this case, a very eventful 3 years. Prime Minister Scott Morrison's term was consumed by the Wuhan virus pandemic. So his campaign is also built around that, his response to the virus. That's what he's talking about. And to be fair, the numbers are not bad. 6 million Wuhan virus cases, just over 7,300 deaths. So the mortality rate is extremely low in Australia, but these numbers came at a steep economic cost. Inflation is at 5.1%, the highest level since 2001. To tackle this, Australia's central bank has stepped in. They have raised interest rates for the first time since 2010. What impact will that have? More interest equals less money in hand. Scott Morrison is trying to distance himself from this hike. He says it is the central bank's decision, not his. It is not a reflection of his pandemic response. It's the bank that has decided. The question is, do the people buy this line? Well, according to opinion polls, they don't. Only 45% people back Morrison's coalition. 55% support the Labour Party. You'll soon be hearing a lot about their leader, Anthony Albanese. He's contesting to be Australia's next Prime Minister. Now, what do we know about him? He's a career politician. He served as the Deputy Prime Minister in 2013. His election pitch is based on 5 promises: cheaper medicines, building resilient supply chains, closing the gender pay gap, shifting to green vehicles, and bringing down housing prices, typical Labour promises. But what about his foreign policy, specifically China? Well, that depends on which report you read. Anthony Albanese says China is a bipartisan issue in Australia. Listen to what he said, and I'm quoting. Whoever is in government, it will be a difficult relationship. It will be difficult because the posture of China has changed. It is China that has changed, not Australia. Sounds like he means business. But his actions tell a different story. Take a look at this video. That's Anthony Albanese speaking in Mandarin. He was addressing a trade association linked to the Communist Party. And let me also tell you what he said. I'm quoting again. Deepening ties with China is in Australia's national interest. Same leader, 2 different positions. The fact is, China is a big factor in Australian politics. Do you remember this report from February? Morrison accused Albanese of being a Manchurian candidate. He said he was working for China. Now that may be pushing it, but there's no denying that China would like to see Labour in power. The Global Times wrote an entire article, editorial about this. And listen closely to what they said. This is the Global Times speaking. Albanese is a cautious person and politician. He has demonstrated a propensity to believe the US view of the world without analysis. Nonetheless, in comparison to Morrison, he positively shines. That's China's assessment of the Labour leader. Maybe not a Manchurian candidate, but certainly the preferred candidate. Morrison, on the other hand, is hawkish on China. He strengthened ties with the Quad. He took Australia into AUKUS. He called out China's unofficial trade embargo. He even demanded an investigation into the Wuhan virus origins. So China's attitude is quite clear. Anyone but Scott Morrison. And the Prime Minister has played up this sentiment. But once again, Australians are not buying it. 61% people feel the relationship with China is complex. Only 26% feel it is also a threat. And only 28% people think Scott Morrison can handle China. 37% say Labour will do a better job. Now, these are just opinion polls. They have gone wrong before in Australia. Even in 2019, remember, Scott Morrison was expected to lose. But he ended up securing a 4th term for the coalition. Whatever happens, this election will shake up politics in the Indo-Pacific because Australia is crucial to containing China. They have influence with the Pacific states, with the smaller islands. They will soon have nuclear-powered submarines thanks to AUKUS. The Quad's plan to contain China hinges on Australia's full commitment, which is why this election is very, very important. India itself will be watching the elections closely. Scott Morrison has built great chemistry with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I'm sure you remember the Hindi banter, the samosa and everything else. Well, whoever wins the election, the bilateral cooperation is expected to continue between India and Australia. The question is, Will the commitment be the same? WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.